The end of the year can be a fun time, but it can also get really busy, from decorating to hosting and then getting rid of the things that you no longer need. Sometimes it's hard to stay organized.
So helping us learn ways to avoid this is Winston-Salem-based home organizer Jill Moore. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So why are the holidays one of the best times to declutter and organize, in your opinion?
Absolutely. So the holidays are a really good time to declutter and get organized because we have just come off a season of giving. Of course, we're going to holiday parties, we're having grandparents over, we're doing gift exchanges, and that means that a lot of new things are coming into our home. So it's really, really important to find a spot for all those things to live. So now is a really good time to get organized.
Jill, I think a lot of people find it hard to sometimes get rid of things they've been holding on to a very long time. Can you talk about the importance of an honest declutter and what people should consider when going through their personal things?
Absolutely. An honest declutter is really important because you really have to be honest with yourself about what you're using, what you're wearing, what kitchen appliances you're actually using in the kitchen, what toys your kids are playing with. When you're honest with yourself about what you're using, you're going to make space for the things that matter most. So that's really important, to be honest with yourself when you're decluttering.
Do you recommend like a time frame? If I haven't used this item in X amount of months, then it's time to get rid of it?
Or years?
Yeah.
About a year is the average, especially for clothes. You know, things come in and out of style. We want to look our best when we go out into the world. So we really want to keep the things that we enjoy the most.
A year. Okay, I did think it was
About a
6
year.
months. So, okay, that's good to
Well,
know. I
anyway.
can keep my things longer.
About a year.
So how
Yeah.
can we reorganize though and declutter while taking down all of the holiday decor that we don't want up anymore?
Absolutely. So one of the things while you're taking down your holiday decor, things may have gotten broken, things may not have made it out of the attic. So it's important to look through the things that you've actually enjoyed and put out to have for your holiday season, and things that you have not taken out in a couple years. Maybe it's time to pass along.
Okay, now Brian mentioned this, a lot of people are hosting this time of year. How can they reset their kitchen and pantry spaces?
Yes, after a holiday party, you are likely to have a lot of leftovers, a lot of foods in your pantry that you may not normally have in stock, things like that that are like specialty items. So it's really important to take the time to clean out your refrigerator, clean out your freezer. After a couple days, no one's really eating those leftovers anyway. So it's really important to make sure to get those things out of the house, out of the fridge, and reset for the new year.
What are your tips on organizing children's toys?
That's an excellent question. So children's toys, obviously, things that are broken need to go. Things that kids haven't played with for a long time, those are things that can be passed along. I think once you're down to a reasonable amount of toys that the kids can actually clean up themselves and maintain, what you want to do is set up a system with a lot of labels. So that way that the kids will know where to put things back when they're done playing with them.
Jill, do you handle expensive items a little more differently? I know some people buy things like, I paid a lot of money for this, I don't want to part with it right away. How do you go about doing that?
Absolutely. When you spend a lot of money on things, it's a little bit harder to get rid of those items because you're like, well, I spent a lot of money. There's a lot of guilt that goes along with that. So what's interesting, though, is even if an item costs a lot of money, the money doesn't come back to you if you leave the item in your closet. So that's something really important to remember. And if you're not enjoying the item anymore, it's okay to pass it along.
That's a good way of thinking about it. Yeah, it's not cost. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Anything else you're wondering?
Any other tips that you have to provide for this time of year? I know it can be stressful in so many different aspects. So how can maybe people take this on and not feel overwhelmed by all of it?
Just do a little at a time. Set a timer, do a 10-minute declutter. You know, don't try to tackle a whole space at once. Maybe just tackle like the junk drawer and get started from there and build momentum.
All right, Jill, thanks so much for the helpful tips. And here is the website on your screen now. If you need any more decluttering or organization tips, just visit organizejill.com.